Do you want to know how you can make a distorted raw hardstyle kick purely from FL Studio? No third-party samples and no third-party plugins? Check it in this video. When I create my kicks, I first start with the punch. Afterwards, we're gonna go into the tail, and then we're gonna go into some layering to finish it off. So let's start with the punch. For the punch, I started with this sample, and I pitched it down 4 semitones because that would fit with my drop. Then, inside the mixer, we're gonna add a few effects. First, we're gonna add some EQ. Then we're gonna add a fast dist. And the distortion really makes the punch already come to life. If we then add another EQ, this kind of balances it out. A little bit less sub and less low mids. But to give that more power again, we give the final distortion, which makes it more full. And that becomes this exported sample. Then we layer this with a clap, and this clap we pitch down for 3 semitones to make sure it really fits with that punch. In the mixer, we're gonna add some more distortion and also some more EQ. If we then buzz both of these sounds together, we can distort them further and really make a nice punch out of them. So we add another EQ, distortion, and another EQ. Now that we have a combined layer from our clap and our punch, there's only one more thing we need to do. To have a good punch, you need to have a right transient. And often when you create your punch with distortion, it kind of destroys that transient. So we needed to add another layer that will become the transient of our punch. So we took this sample over here, and we're gonna go into our mixer, and again, we're gonna EQ this, distort this further. Then it becomes louder and a little bit more poppy. Then we're gonna add another EQ, where we mainly focus on the highs because adding these high frequencies really gives that transient and that click. And we finish it off with another wave shaper just to make sure that it doesn't clip anymore. Then this is our exported clap and punch layer. So there's no transient in here yet, but I felt that we needed to change this tone to fit my drop a little bit better. So what I did is I just took an automation clip with the pitch range to 8 semitones, and we're just gonna make this move. If you just make it move downwards, it's still gonna sound like a normal regular punch. Just listen what it does. But this is a small and easy trick that you can implement to change your punches in just one layer. Choosing the right sample when it comes to the tail is very important. Originally creating hardstyle kick, we did that with 909s, but I felt that the 909 in FL Studio wasn't that long, so I had to pick another one, and I found this one. It's Attack Kick 08, and it just has the right amount of movement for my tail. I pitch this up 3 semitones to make sure that we're in the right key for my drop again, and then we're gonna go into the mixer and make this stuff come to life. We're gonna start with an EQ that really looks way too extreme, then another EQ, and only then our distortion. What I did when I was creating this kick, I first had this EQ and then this distortion, but I wanted to play with it a little bit more. So I insert another EQ in between there to see if I can create a little bit more of a different tone at the end of my chain. So the half of this chain was already there, but I'm inserting an EQ afterwards and just scrolling that up to see if that will change the sound just right. So this is already quite resonant, but it needs to come to life, and we do that again with distortion. If we then add our third EQ, this EQ has some movement in there, and that's to make movement for the tail. I like this with that EQ that's moving. It's okay, but it still doesn't sound like a hardstyle kick. That's a moment that we need to add more distortion. I'm gonna add this wave shaper, and then we're gonna EQ this further. With this EQ, we're just gonna take away some of these low mids and boost more of that crunchy region. But you see that with each big peak that you make in an EQ, it kinda destroys the crunchiness. And after each EQ, you just need to add a distortion to bring that back. So for the next one, we use fast dist. And you might actually hear that this is gonna start sounding closer to a finished hardstyle tail. Now to round it off, we're gonna add a parametric EQ to take away some low mids. And in the end, we finish it off with a nice and loud distortion. Now the only thing that's really left to make is a nice sub for our tail. The only thing we need to do is just take any 3x oscillator, put it to pure sine, and we just play the right tone. Let's first start by layering our tails. Here we have our tail from our distortion chain, and here is the pure sine from 3x oscillator. All we need to do is make sure that when one goes up, the other one has to go up as well. This means it has an aligned phase, so it sounds well if you put them together. That's all we need to do for our layering of our 2 layers. Now for our punch, there's a little bit more to do. We still have our sample here with our pitch down automation clip that I showed you earlier, but we need to add our transient in here. So we take away the transient from our punch, so now it becomes more weak, And then we take our export from the transient we created earlier. So now it's nice and snappy and also has a nice tone for our punch. Do you love this video and would you like to see more? It's gonna be possible on my Patreon page. It's gonna go live on the 21st of January, so right now I'm still working on all the content, but it's just a heads up. Now we have a nice punch with a nice transient, but we don't have a low end yet. And that's where this final sample comes in. This groove kick is pitched down to go somewhere for the right tone, and then we play around with the pogo to make sure it really fits. So you need to just find the right combination for this, with your pogo and your pitch. And that's the hard thing about layering your punches. Now if we take the tail and put that after our punch, it's already sounding quite nice, but we need to add some effects to really finish this off. On our tail we add this EQ, because I wanted to have a little bit less low mids and more highs so it would breathe more. After that I added this very small reverb. I just felt it was too mono and just a little bit of reverb would help. As you can see, it's only 20%. And yeah, it's not too loud to really make the kick stereo. So now that our layering is done, we need to put everything together to a final master chain. So everything comes together to this final kick bus. Then we add a soft clipper. If you don't know how to use a soft clipper, it's actually real easy. All you need to do is just take a look at the volume that comes in. And then if you look at the line on the right, if on that level the line is straight, it doesn't do anything. If it's curved, then it's clipping. Now you'll see that our volume is quite high, where the line is curved. So that means our soft clipper is clipping our kick. Then we add another EQ to make sure that we have even less low mids. This really cleans up your kicks. And then we add our final distortion to really make it more loud. And now it's finished, and now it will sound like this in a drop. If you learned from this video, I'd love to hear that in the comments. So leave a like, a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!